Uh, you are silenced. You are so silenced. You're so unbelievably silenced.
Okay, now I can hear you.
Okay.
Do you like
Let me
my
get my
setup?
setup. I do. Do you like my setup? I have some natural
I
lighting.
do.
It's actually really ideal because the lighting in my room is like really booty when it's like dark out. Like my lamps are not super bright. So natural lighting is totally preferred.
So
I hope I
that,
sound nice.
okay.
I hope I do because you have a very you sound really clear on all our recordings and I sound very muffled and I always use my headphones or a microphone. So this is
Interesting.
a little experiment. Yeah, it is interesting.
How was your day?
My day was so fun. I started it off with a morning IHOP
Oh,
and yeah, because we were gonna go to the movies to see Beau is Afraid, and we had to go at 11 because my friend had to go to a graduation to give a speech or something. So we had to go to the 11:25 showing, and we wanted to get breakfast, and there was an IHOP in the same like area. So we were like, let's get IHOP. Let's have a morning IHOP. And it was really special. It's my second time ever going to IHOP. Third, sorry. Very special. And then we saw Beau is Afraid, which I can say a few words on. I can save the words.
okay, say the words.
I said I could save them, but I could also say them. I don't want to say too much because you want to see it. Um, there's really not much to spoil because it's not really like that kind of movie, but I will say I liked it. 3 hours was really hard for me, as it would be for anybody. I had to take a walk in the middle. I didn't like it. As of now, I didn't like it as much as Midsummer or Hereditary, but it is one of those movies where it's like there's probably like a lot of symbolism. There's definitely a lot of symbolism I missed, and I think if or when I watch like a video essay or like read about it, I'm gonna like appreciate it a lot more because that usually is the case for movies like it's not like it's very straightforward plot wise, but there is a lot of like it's just like there's so much imagery and symbolism. It was really funny. I think at times it was when it wasn't supposed to be like, but still, my theater found it funny too. Like I had a giggly theater. Like we all had a case of the giggles this morning, and um, so there were a lot of laughs. But yeah, I liked it. I
Okay.
don't have. I didn't like love it. Like I wouldn't be like that's my favorite movie, but like I don't really have anything bad to say about it. And I
It's
didn't
gotten
realize
really mixed reviews.
it has, and I'm kind of surprised. Maybe it's just because it didn't seem like an Ari Aster movie to me, but like I've also only seen two of his movies. Um,
Well, he's only made two movies.
oh, really?
Yeah, and then a short film.
Because I was gonna say it wasn't to me very much like Midsommar or Hereditary in many like discernible ways, but I also again like he only has two movies, so he doesn't really have a style now that I've
That's
learned
also
about.
kind of cool. I feel like I like when
Yeah.
directors do different style movies.
I also didn't realize till the very end that it was Joaquin Phoenix because the only other thing I knew him in was Her, and he looks like he's aged 20 years
Yeah.
from how he looks in Her. So my jaw like literally dropped. I thought he was like a guy from like The Sopranos. Not any specific one. He just didn't have a Joaquin to him, but
Hmm.
he was. So that surprised me.
Well, I love that. I'll see it maybe
Yeah.
tomorrow, and
Yeah,
then we
you
can talk
should.
about it next episode more in
You
depth.
should get into that. You should clock in.
I'll clock in.
Tune in, yeah. How was your
Okay,
day?
so what? Oh, my day
Well,
was
how was
good.
everyone else your day was? Yeah.
Um, so I woke up at 11 a.m. And I had a very weird dream last night, but I don't
So they're
really
saying
remember it.
everyone seems to be having those.
I love that. Um, and then AJ and I were supposed to go garden shopping, but he was asleep.
I heard
So,
that.
um,
He was sleeping on you.
Actually, no, he texted me later and was like, "Oh, sorry, my like text didn't go through, but I was gonna reschedule because it's raining."
Oh, so he
And I
wasn't
was like, "That makes sense," because I wanted to reschedule as well. But anyways,
super.
that was my day. Very uneventful, but yeah, I
But you
played a
made
lot
us
of
a little
Minecraft.
PowerPoint.
So let's get into it.
Let's jump in.
Let me share my little screen.
I literally not for all my share my screen.
Not so well to share my screen. What?
I
Wait, what
like
did you say?
literally forgot what?
Wait, what?
What?
What did you say?
I was starting to say I forgot everything that happened in this episode, and then I realized that was a lie because I literally didn't. Because the second I thought that, I was like, wait, Switzerland or Norway. So I didn't forget everything, actually. In fact, I
Yeah,
remember most of it.
yeah. Um, that being said, it was kind of a boring episode compared to 3 and 4. Kind of uneventful to
I
me.
disagree to you. Not compared to three, sure. Compared to four, it didn't have any like big thing the way of like the underline thing, but I was one of my favorite episodes. I think I keep saying that about every episode this season though. I just something about it just like really I just thought it had some like great performances, and I thought there was a lot of really interesting dynamics that we saw play out in interesting ways, and I thought it was a beautiful scenery, which it was, which is not something typical of Succession. I like that kind of like change in
I like
scenery.
how whenever it's like a beautiful scenery, like when they're at Argestes, even like Chianti and like on the yacht, it's like beautiful, but it's also kind of like lifeless and bland and like,
Yeah,
or not bland, but like cold.
it's always cold in that show.
Yeah. I think it's
Yeah,
interesting because it's like they live lives of luxury, but it's not ever appealing.
no.
Yeah.
And they also don't even like do anything with where like
Yeah.
it doesn't change, like where they are doesn't change anything. Like, um, do you know what I mean? Because even
Yeah.
like I think what's his name? Mr. Culkin, Kieran Culkin was like talking about how he was like so like into the scene he like didn't even notice the mountains.
Yeah.
Like I'm like that's so true. Like they wouldn't.
Yeah,
Like
they
even though that was
wouldn't.
like him as an actor talking, I was like, but that's like literally how like there was no like comment like, wow, we're in gorgeous, gorgeous Norway, which is like another day in Norway.
Ugh, another day. Yeah. Um, the parts of the episode that I really liked was when Carolina was being a cunt to Ebba, the assistant. And then I just love Matsson's character. He's so if he was played by any other actor, I'd be like, oh, he's the slimiest, grossest man alive. But
Yeah.
Alexander Skarsgård is like so gorgeous that he just
The
gets away
blood
with
thing
it.
would like work on me, dare I say, in the right
No, dare I say you're right.
Okay, I was gonna say I feel yeah, like it would. I'm like, wait,
Yeah. It's like it's just silly.
it
But that
is.
was one of my questions. How would you receive a half-liter frozen blood brick
If it
from your
was someone I was
boss?
into and like that was established, see that might be like the difference because it was like non-consensual. Um, but like if it was someone who had like we had established that like we were into each other and I received that, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that would work. That would work for me.
Hmm.
I'd give it the okay.
And then Shiv and Tom's mid-off when they were like roasting each
That
other.
was oh my God, that like was such a good like moment.
Cultures were reset.
Cause like it was so like stupid. Like they were literally just like insulting each other in the dumbest of ways. And it was like the realest interaction they've had, I feel like, in so long. And he was
Agree.
saying her earlobes were like barnacle meat.
Yeah.
Who like oh my God,
Who says
genius.
that?
Tom.
Oh, I'm getting a text.
Okay, popular. Is it for me? Was it for
Okay,
me?
I'm gonna respond later because it's kind
Oh,
of a
okay.
long thing.
Okay. Not for all my little words, not for all North Carolina. Not if I could sing like a bird.
Thank you for
Doesn't
singing.
matter
Keep
what.
singing.
Not for all my. What was I? Oh, I was singing. His hands are in my hair. His hands are in my face. Say you'll remember me. Standing in a nice dress, staring at the sunset, babe. Red lips and rosy cheeks. Say you'll
Okay,
see
thank
me
you.
again.
What were your favorite moments from the episode?
Okay, Roman being like, fuck you, I hate you.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I think, and that whole like conversation with all of them up on the mountaintop, and then the succeeding conversation in the plane,
Mm-hmm.
because and back it up when Kendall and Roman were like, let's tank it, and then they're like, let's tank the whole thing, and then Shiv was like, no, let's not. Back it up, back it up, when they're all making fun of Greg in Sweden for being
Yes.
nepotism, and it being a Skarsgård. Great. I
Mm-hmm.
like that was so like genius with like the caption, like that it's funnier with subtitles. I loved seeing that in
Yes.
subtitles. But yeah, I really like the like final moments. Because it's like you don't really know what happened. And
Yeah.
I like that, like it's unclear like why it went down the way it did. And like um the when Shiv was like, take a picture of their faces, I want to see, like, I'm like, what did Shiv do? Like, what was her involvement? What did she make that, like, she made the list, like, why were those choices made? Why were Jerry
Yep.
and Carolina scared? Like, I just have so many questions, and I think they did a really good job of like not really like telling you what it is, but like dropping little hints. So yeah.
It's
And
very
I don't know if we'll ever
interesting.
really know why the deal went through as it did.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know if it's like if he bought that as like if he bought Logan and Kendall's like performance as an actual strategy and he did it based on that,
Mm-hmm.
or if they were doing a play the whole time, because they might have been, or if Shiv pulled the strings. So I'm like, I don't know, and I don't know if like we'll ever know.
Yeah, I don't either. I feel like so much in the show happens off screen. Like so
Yeah,
many important events happen off screen. Um, like we don't know what happened with Shiv and Matson like right
yeah,
after that scene cuts away.
yeah, because she never left. Like we never saw her leave.
Yeah. Also she was killing her baby with
I
the
know,
alcohol.
I
That was so
know.
funny. I love her for that.
When lines of that
Not
coke.
actually. But yeah. Also, Kieran Culkin is going to be submitted for lead actor instead of supporting, so he'll be up against Jeremy Strong,
I know.
which is interesting.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Does he usually win as supporting?
No, he's never won.
But Jeremy Strong has won, right?
I don't remember. I know Brian Cox won for Logan, and Matthew McFadden has
He
won.
lead or supporting as Logan?
Lead. Succession Emmys. Let's see this.
Didn't like Matthew
Yeah.
McFadden win?
Yeah, Matthew McFadden won for supporting actor. And oh yeah, Jeremy Strong did win for lead in 2020 and wait, what? Wait, these are nominees. Okay, yeah. Matthew McFadden won for supporting, Jeremy Strong won for lead, Brian uh hasn't won, it looks like. Yeah,
Who?
Brian has not won. It's just Jeremy and Matthew.
Hmm.
Um,
Nice.
which is interesting.
It is interesting.
But yeah, that's all I have to say about that episode. I think it'll be interesting to see how it turns the tides, like the people who are getting
Oh, I
fired.
also, yeah, I want to add, because I was texting Grace, I was like, wait, this was literally Ex Machina, and it was. And I got
Yeah.
so it's like it's like not very similar at all, but it is like a deranged like billionaires tech CEO like freak
Hmm.
weirdo
Yeah.
um who brings people to his lair and wants things out of them. So
Yeah.
there's some overlap, but I just thought that was funny.
Hmm. That is interesting. I wonder if they did that on purpose.
They must have.
Yeah, I
There's no
wouldn't be
way they're like,
surprised because they
oh,
do everything on
whoa,
purpose.
same place. Maybe it's just like Norway's Hollywood.
Maybe.
The mountains.
Okay, Dune 2 Cinemacon announcements. I unfortunately will not be able to read Dune for another like month or so because Ryan is making me read an erotic fantasy novel. Um,
How is it?
well, I haven't started it yet. It's this book that Ryan's making me read. But I'm still reading the fourth Game of Thrones book, and I'm like halfway through it. So I have so many words to read before I can
You know
read
what I
Dune.
just read?
What?
I just read Lena Dunham's memoir,
Oh, was it
and
good?
I really liked it. Like that, like Lena Dunham just is a really good writer,
Yeah, she is.
or she writes in a way that I find very entertaining.
Hmm.
And I think she's really good at like describing things and being like, "Oh yeah, that's what that is," and being like, "Yeah, she said that." She said the way that that feels in my head, but like I wouldn't articulate. Like she can just
Hmm.
like articulate it well. I had a really good time. I read it in like 2 days. That's a lie. I read it in a week. But it was just like a very enjoyable reading experience. Made me like cackle many times. I mean, I have mixed feelings about her as a person, as like
Yeah.
everyone on this earth does, but like I still feel like I can appreciate that she's a good writer at least.
She's not for everyone, but she was for us.
She was for us.
That's what the gay community will say when she dies.
So yeah.
And I'll be there.
And I will be there and I will be seconding that.
Okay, so actual things about Dune 2 that were revealed. So it's described as an action-packed war movie. It'll focus on the relationship between Paul and Chani. It's picking up right where they left off, so there's not gonna be
Nice.
any like time leaps or anything. It's gonna like pick up right from where the first movie ended. Austin Butler. Oh wait, the picture is blocked. Hold on, let me move this. Yeah. Austin Butler is the bald nephew of Baron Harkonnen, and apparently he's like a psychopath.
That's Austin Butler. That's the
Yup.
thing where like Tilda Swinton is like punching the air right now. Oh
Yup.
my God. I didn't realize. Wait. Oh, he's such a cutie. He's gonna
Interesting
like
word.
jump. He's gonna jump on the screen like in his Elvis voice.
I hope
Like,
so.
Atreides.
What?
I tried some.
Atreides! Except he's
Atreides.
that would be so
It
good.
just broke the sound barrier.
Um, Paul is gonna ride the sandworm. My dream. Florence Pugh is praying. She's
Is
not
that
praying.
canon?
She's
That's
not praying.
confirmed that he's
That's
gonna.
confirmed. Florence Pugh is
Woo!
playing Princess Arulan, daughter of the Emperor, who in the novel is the writer of a bunch of the historical entries because like every chapter of Dune, there it starts with like a historical entry from that time period, and it's revealed at the end of the novel that Princess Arulan is like one of the people writing them, which is kind of interesting.
Nice.
And Christopher Walken will play the Emperor. Um, it's interesting because I was actually supposed to play Princess Arulan.
And I was
They
supposed to
said I
play the
was like
Emperor.
the perfect person for it, and Ella was supposed to play the Emperor. But we were busy and like we just have a lot going on at the moment. And even though, obviously we love that movie, it's just like we do need to get our priorities straight. And this movie is kind of like, as
It was
much as
kind
I
of
love
big.
it, like I think I'll appreciate it more if I'm loving it from afar and like I can see
Right.
it from an audience's perspective and my opinion on it isn't like changed based on how I felt during the shoot, you know?
I agree. And
I
it just
feel like
kind of
it's
felt like charity work. Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
that's
Like
stupid. It's just not me.
it would just feel weird. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, so I gave it to Christopher.
Yeah, it's just like it's very different from like my image that I want to portray. Like, do I really want to be stuck to this sci-fi
I
role
agree.
forever? And like, we don't know how many movies he's gonna make. Like, what if it's a franchise? I do not want to be in a franchise movie. I don't want to be tied down like that. I mean, it makes sense for Florence Pugh, like, love her. But it's just like that's just not me. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. It's just my creative vision, like we just differed, and that's okay. Like, I mean, that's part of the business, and like that's something that like you kind of have to reconcile with and like come to terms with and like understand that like, you can have a lot of love and a lot of respect for a project, but understand it just like doesn't align with like your core. And like
No,
that's where I'm coming from. And it's like all love to Mr. Dune. Who directs Dune?
Denis
You realize that I
Villeneuve.
don't know. Who?
Denis Villeneuve.
I would have never even said that name in a million years.
That's
Like
Sophie's
the
dad's best
monkeys
friend.
typing, how they would type Shakespeare. If those monkeys were my brain, they would have never come up with that name.
Yeah. I mean, the other reason why like I didn't agree to play this role, although like okay, not to brag, but like I did crush the audition and the callback and the chemistry read with Timothy and the chemistry read with Zendaya. And the chemistry read with you when you were being cast as the emperor. Because you would have been my father. So, um
Mhm.
I just look, the allegations of me being a nepo baby, like they're already bad, but because I'm Quentin Tarantino's daughter, I don't like to talk about it, but the
And
other
you
thing
bring it up though.
is,
Like you find a way to bring it up though. Like I just wanted to say that. Like I you I don't want to talk about it. Like pigeonholes it into the conversation.
okay, sorry, I was just
And it's
crying
fine if you
off
want.
camera.
I would want to talk about it too, but like
No,
we have
like
to
I literally go back in any of our episodes, I've never mentioned it once. Like, but whatever.
like you cut it
It's
out.
fine. If I cut it out, then clearly I don't want to be putting like I don't want to connect it to my image. But that's not even besides the point because he doesn't even have anything to do with this project. The problem with this project specifically and the Nepo baby allegations against me is that Denis Villeneuve went to high school with Sophie's dad. And that's just a bad look for me. Like it's gonna seem like I only got cast in that movie not because of my amazing acting skills, not because of my looks, not because of my flourishing career, but because my friend's dad is friends with the director. Like, and that was never the truth. And Denis doesn't even know that. Like, I'm revealing that now to the public. No one else knew that, but it would have gotten out eventually, and that would have been really bad. So yeah.
No, that makes sense. And like
Yeah.
I do understand. I just think
Yeah.
like, yeah. No, yeah. I'll hold my
No, yeah.
tongue. I agree.
Yeah. Um, so moving on from Dune, basically. That time that Ella came to visit me and my friends, and we bought fake lashes at a dollar store so we could take on British personas, and my friend took a portrait of it, and now it's going to be in a gallery for her senior photography thesis.
Wow, that's so fierce. I've never seen it.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
no big deal. Also, like 10 other photos of me are going to be in that thesis, so it's like not a big deal.
Whoa.
But I did have a laugh at the lashes photo because we really did do that as like the dumbest joke ever, and now it's like
But like it
in
looks
an
fierce.
actual thing. Thank you. Thank you.
So
I should put on this look more often, I think.
yeah, I agree.
Okay, next topic change
Oh my God,
is
I
we're
forgot about
gonna
that.
I wait, what?
I forgot about this.
Oh yeah. And I did a deep dive. Look at these slides, baby.
Oh my
Um,
God. Holy
yeah.
shit.
You're in for a treat today. Okay. Steven Crowder's divorce. So some background on Steven Crowder. If you don't know him by name, you
How do
probably
you know? Where
know
did you
him.
learn all this from?
Oh, a lot of H3 podcasts, um, just Twitter in
Yeah.
general, just a lot of places.
Louder with Crowder.
I just love talking shit about like conservative alpha males. I think it's really funny whenever they experience any type of pain or suffering. Um so if you don't know him by name or by his show Louder with Crowder, you probably know the meme blah 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 is a blah 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 change my mind, because he does this series called Change My Mind where he'll make these like outlandish, eye-catching posters, and then he'll debate people on the subject. So male privilege is a myth. He also did like there are only two genders, prove me wrong, or change my mind, or the COVID numbers are inflated, change my mind, blah blah blah. He's like one of those debate me bro people, which is funny because I'm going to get to why his whole persona of like being this debater who always wants to talk to like opposing viewpoints is actually hilarious. So he was a failed stand-up comedian. So naturally he took the route of becoming a right-wing grifter,
How did
and
he
he
try
makes
to like joke? What was his comedian like approach? Like what did he try and fail at?
just stand-up comedy. I don't really know. I don't know a lot about his comedy career because frankly he wasn't that relevant. But he was the voice of the brain on Arthur, which is very interesting looking back.
Oh, weird.
Um, Another thing he's known for is that he inaccurately reenacted George Floyd's death, and he claimed he felt fine, which he claimed was proof that George Floyd was
What do
on
you mean
fentanyl.
he reenacted his death? Like
Yep,
really
he
like,
laid on the ground as his friend put his knee on his neck.
oh
Um,
my
by the
God.
way, his friend was clearly not applying any pressure to him, like at all, at least not for like the amount of time that George Floyd was experiencing that. Also, that's literally so disgusting to
That
reenact someone's
is
death.
sick.
Like, what is wrong with you?
That
I
is
don't care how, like, what side of the political spectrum you fall upon and what side of the political spectrum the person who dies is part of. You are one of the worst scums of the earth if you reenact someone's death
oh
for
my
views. Like
God.
you are insane. Like actually insane. Um and he claimed he felt fine, but then months later he had surgery for a concave chest and fluid in his lungs. So like was he? Not that those were related, like they maybe weren't, but I do think it's kind of funny, and I do think it was kind of karmic that he had lung issues later. Um, but he claims his values are like the protection of children. He's always using that as like an argument against trans people. Free
Mhm. I
speech,
did know.
loves free speech, apparently. And then traditional and patriarchal marriage. He claims the breakdown of nuclear families, and gay parents and black single mothers are the bane of America and the cause of all problems because kids need a father and a mother in the home. Very interesting. Because he's getting divorced. Super traditionally masculine to have a job where you sit at a desk and make silly little jokes and bully marginalized people. Like, go back to the fields, go back to the mine, go back to war. Like, why do you think you are like the pinnacle of masculinity when all you do is sit at a desk and like complain? Like, literally, that's all you do. That is your job, and that's totally fine and that's so fun. But don't claim that you are like a figure of masculinity and that's like the peak of manhood. Anyways,
Yeah.
plot thickens when on June 21st, 2021, very important date, by the way, he goes on Ethan Klein's podcast to debate, thinking that Ethan will be a layup because Ethan wasn't very politically informed or a good debater at the time. So Steven was like, oh, like this will be easy. Oh no, our free meeting will end in 10 minutes. That's
Oh
so
my God.
embarrassing. We're literally
Oh
oppressed, but I
my
feel like I can get through this in 10
God.
minutes. Um, Stephen had previously, I think, refused to debate Sam Cedar. So he goes on the H3 podcast to debate, and let's see what happens.
Ooh, you got the timestamp.
I maybe do. I don't know if that's actually right. But let's see. Oh my god, it's loading! That's so cute and fun.
God, crickets. Oh, we probably can't do sound.
Oh, can you not hear it?
No.
I can hear it. Okay, that's so awkward. Why does it look
Really
like
cool.
that? Okay, it's so lame when you can't hear it, but basically,
No, I got it.
oh, you got it?
Well, I feel like I can project where it's going.
Yeah, so they bring Sam
Okay.
Cedar on to the Zoom, who is like this leftist political guy. And Steven leaves the Zoom 10 minutes later after not even debating Sam Cedar, which is really fun because he's supposedly a free speech activist and he loves to debate people and hear other opposing views, but he wouldn't even debate Sam Cedar. Um, then in January of 2023, so much later, Steven Crowder publicly turned down and criticized a $50 million 4-year contract with the Daily Wire, and he claimed that it was a slave wage or like slave fee or whatever. It's $50 million. Do you know how rich this man must be making this right-wing content to turn down $50 million from a conservative streaming platform? And then in response to that, Candace Owens, who is a member of Daily Wire, responds by saying Steven Crowder has a lot going on and we should pray for him. And she's not sure if she should say anything further. And everyone's like, what? What does that mean? What is he going through? I thought he was gay. I thought that's what she was implying because he implies that a lot, that he's had like a bisexual phase, which is really interesting. And I feel really bad for him that he's in this space where he can't like be himself if he is bisexual or whatever. And I thought that's what she was implying, but she was actually implying his divorce. Um, so he announces his divorce, and oh, well, we can't listen to it, so I'll just summarize what he says. Basically, he says there was no kind of physical abuse on either side, which is very interesting wording that he specified it was physical, that there
Yeah.
was no physical abuse. Um, and he keeps on saying like Texas law says it's okay that just my wife like wants to get divorced, that it's a no-fault divorce. And he keeps on saying like, oh, it wasn't my choice. It wasn't my choice. Because he knows that his audience is anti-divorce and will criticize him if it was him who filed for divorce. Um, and he said, my children are blameless. As if we were watching that going like, oh yeah, your 2-year-old twins are at fault for your divorce. Yeah, definitely. Um he also says that people in positions of power knew of this, like knew of the divorce, which implies that the founders of Daily Wire, or someone involved in Daily Wire knew about it and was using it against him. And he then directly mentions Candace Owens and shows the clip of her being like, let's pray for Steven Crowder. And it's so stupid because she literally never mentions the divorce. Like, you do not have a case against her at all for
Yeah.
extortion, like you claim, when she doesn't say anything about your actual divorce. But it's really cool that you're using your divorce announcement and naming and like talking about your kids in order to call out Candace Owens and the Daily Wire that you have like this battle with right now. That's really cool. He also ends it by saying, I just want to make it clear that the only person to blame is me because I picked wrong. Like
Like
he
about his
picked his
wife.
wife wrong. Like, but anyways. And then Candace Owen responded to that, but I don't have. She basically just says it's like defamation that he accused her of extortion. And I'm so excited. Like, I really hope that they go into like a legal battle over like the things that they're saying because they're like free speech activists, but they're suing each other for defamation. That's just awesome. So remember when I said the date, June 21st, 2021 was important? Well,
Yeah.
the footage of Steven Crowder verbally abusing his wife is from June 26th. So maybe he was feeling like a little emasculated at that point because he was just humiliated by Sam Cedar. Um, but who can be sure? Um, I'm not gonna play the footage because it's really kind of disturbing. He's like scary and yelling and awful. But I will summarize it. Basically, it's this ring camera footage that was provided to this reporter, Yashar Ali. Um, by Hillary Crowder, Steven Crowder's wife, a member of her family. And he's smoking a cigar feet away from his wife, who is 8 months pregnant with twins. And this is like a pro-life guy. Like, are you kidding? Like, you could, anyways. And the fight that they're having is over the fact that she won't give their dogs medicine. And this medicine, and the reason she won't do that is because she's worried that it's toxic for pregnant women, because a lot of like dog medicine and,
Uh,
you can't clean a litter box, for example, when you're pregnant because
Really?
of like the chemicals. Yeah.
Like the fumes? Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Not
it's
the
something
fumes, but
with
like
like,
how else would it
yeah,
get
I don't
in?
know what it is exactly, but there might be like a bacteria in cat feces or something. But anyways, like
Okay.
she literally can't, if she touches the medicine, like she could potentially harm her children. And Steven Crowder does not care, and he tells her to wear gloves. Like, no, you do it. You have enough time to sit outside and lounge in your chair and smoke a cigar, but you can't give your dogs medicine because your pregnant wife is worried that it'll harm her pregnancy. Like, what is actually wrong with you? And even the fact in general that he's like being mean and fighting his wife and like telling her to do stuff when she's pregnant, 8 months pregnant, like ginormous, can't do anything. Like, you should be bending over backwards and like worshiping her that she is willing to carry your children. Like, that is the most insane sacrifice a person can make for you. And you're like, not take you were like taking it for granted and like making her do other things on top of like sacrificing her entire body and like putting herself through pain and like growing two human beings inside of her. Like, you are crazy. And he tells her to become a worthy wife, as if she's not being a worthy wife yet. Like,
God.
she is 8 months pregnant. And so their fight also revolves around the fact that they only have one car. Now, if you remember, Steven Crowder turned down a $50 million deal. That would lead you to suspect that he is incredibly fucking rich and he could definitely afford more than one car. So, like, why does he only have one car? Oh, right, it's like a common abuse tactic
Yeah.
to only have one car so you can like control where your partner goes and like how much freedom they have. So that's really cool of him. And he says like, you can't take the car because then I'll be trapped here and I can't go to the gym or see my friends or like see my parents. She's going on a grocery shopping trip. She isn't leaving for 5 days. Like, she's gonna be back in like 45 minutes. Like, also,
Wait, he
how
won't.
do you think she feels when you drive that car to work and she is at home and she can't leave? Like, what is wrong with you? He's
His
crazy.
grocery list is steaks, wood pellets. Girl.
Yeah, he's like, you need to get me
Oh,
steaks, wood pellets, my grill, which is literally like if an AI program like came up with like generated a Republican right-wing
wait,
insane person's grocery store list, which is
so
so
he
fun.
won't let her go to the grocery store, but he won't either? Like,
I don't know. It's like crazy. I don't understand. Because like the video, it doesn't show like the start of their conversation or anything. So I don't know
yeah,
exactly what like started
yeah.
this or whatever. It's hard to like pick up from context. I don't know like what his exact view is. But anyways, he claimed that the video is edited to manipulate the narrative. I watched the whole video. There isn't one cut. Like, it's just 3 minutes of straight footage. Like, that is not edited at all. Like, what? Um, oh yeah, the most shocking.
Hi guys, so at this point of the video we were silenced. I don't really want to get into it for legal reasons, but basically there are some forces who claim to be free speech activists and constitution lovers who are out for our necks basically. And our Zoom meeting ended. Um it's okay. Um because nevertheless she persisted and we started another Zoom meeting. But we didn't explain that, nor did we transition like make the transition. Also don't mind the birds. You might think it's an effect, like I'm trying to be funny. I would never do that. I would never put a filter on a video to trick my audience. Like that's disgusting. Like what? This just happens when I'm dizzy. Yeah. And I just stood up and spun around a bunch of times because I like to do that. But the birds do appear. Um, so yeah, enjoy the next part of the video. Since I got cut off, the thing I just said was, this next thing is the most shocking thing, Steven Crowder said. Wait, no, that's not true. That's actually not what I said. I actually don't remember what I said. So you're just gonna have to figure it out. You're just gonna have to use context clues. So yeah.
Hey, yeah, 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 yeah.
Hey, so sister,
So basically, he wasn't present for the birth of his children because he was recovering from an elective surgery. Let me say that again. He wasn't present for the birth of his children because he was recovering from an elective surgery. What do you think about that?
flop. I don't even wait. What elective surgery? First of all, and why would you elect to have it that day?
It was a gender affirming surgery of getting his chest cavity, like it was concave or whatever.
That is heinous.
Yeah.
All things
So,
considered. Wow.
and when you're recovering from surgery, like you need to be looked after. So he's putting himself in a position to be looked after and cared for by presumably his wife, who is also recovering now from a C-section of twins.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Also the thing that Steven says repeatedly in his video when he first announces their divorce is that it wasn't his choice, which is interesting because in the same article that released the ring footage, it's revealed that Hillary filed for divorce, so it was technically her choice to get divorced, but that was after she found out that Steven had gotten a divorce lawyer. So clearly he was making the move to get divorced long before she was. Exposed.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the story.
That's filthy.
Yeah.
Damn.
Thoughts?
I knew like nothing about him other than like his little talk show, his little change my mind thing, and that he's like buddies. I don't know. Was he buddies with Joe Rogan? I feel like I've seen him on there, and like none of this surprised me. It just deepened what I already felt about him, which was he should be stoned and electric chaired and jailed.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I hope he goes to the hell.
I hope he goes to the hell. He will go to the hell.
He definitely will. Especially now that he's gotten divorced, am I right?
Wow. Yeah, no, literally he's going to the hell. I can't believe he got that chest surgery.
I know.
That's like funny if it wasn't like so sad. Not like about him.
Like for the kids.
For the kids.
Because he wasn't present for their birth.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that too. But just like also like his stance on like trans people. Like that's like actually like if I think about that too much, I'm like, that is so wow.
He's so lame. But that was the history.
I wonder like who who watches him and is like, yeah, that's my man.
Well, the footage has turned a lot of people against him, which is good. And like it's interesting because Candace Owens and the rest of Daily Wire are like making stuff against him, which I feel like they must have such a huge overlap in their audience because they have essentially the exact same worldview. So like it's so funny that they're like going against each other now.
I know.
So I don't know. Oh, girl.
Oh.
Anyways. So that's that. We'll be back next week with a review of the next episode of Succession, which is coming out tomorrow. And probably also Beau's Afraid. And whatever other crazy things happen and come our way. And wherever the wind takes us next week.
Yeah. Grace, when are you done with school? Because I'm done.
10th.
Sucks. I'm done.
Yeah. Damn. Well, when are you coming back?
May 20th.
That's lame.
I know. I was gonna stay longer, but I'm coming back for you. Just yeah. Yeah.
Yay. Well, see you next time.
Catch you later.
Catch you later. Bye.
Bye.